Hey guys, Mr. Milton here. Today we're going to talk about applications of inequalities. At the end of this video, you should be able to set up and solve word problems involving inequalities, and you should be able to analyze your answer and put it into the context of the problem. Okay, in writing an inequality from a word problem, use the following general template to set up your inequality. Okay, so just like we can set up word problems with equations, we can do the same thing with inequalities. And here's basically how I want you to go about setting this up. You're going to write an expression to represent the total amount or actual amount. Say actual, you can say total. It'll mean the same thing when we see what was happening. Okay, and then on the other side, write an expression to represent the, we'll say, I'll just say algebraic amount. Okay, and that typically will involve the variable, and that's why I'm saying algebraic. Not necessarily that it's more algebra than the other side. Okay, and then what you're going to do is you're going to determine the symbol or the sign to put between the two expressions. Okay, so if that doesn't make sense to you, then follow along with this example so we can see how it goes. Alright, Johnny wants to spend no more than $500 on a new gaming system. Through doing chores at his house and helping his neighbors, Johnny makes $35 per week. If he already has $80 saved, find all the possible numbers of weeks Johnny must wait to be able to afford the gaming system. Alright, so here we're going to look for the actual or the total or the target. What's Johnny's target? Johnny wants to save $500. Okay, so that's his target. So 500, this is his actual amount. Okay, now what we're going to do in this problem, we start off that Johnny has $80. He already has $80. And he can count on $35 per week. So we're going to write $80 plus 35W. And what we have here are our two steps, finding out the actual number, 500, and the algebraic expression, $80 plus $35 per week. Okay, those are my two sides of my inequality. And so I'm going to set those up. 500 on one side, 80 plus 35W on the other side. And now I'm going to think about my sign. Which number do I want to be bigger? Do I want the $500 that I want for the gaming system to be bigger, or do I want the money that I have to be bigger? Okay. Obviously, Johnny would like more money than he needs rather than less money than he needs, so I'm going to say we want the money that we have to be bigger. Okay, so that's part one of me figuring out my sign. And now I say, is it okay for him to have exactly that amount? If Johnny had $500 exactly, would he be happy? And in this situation, yes. $500, if he says no more than $500, it'd be perfect if he had $500. Okay, so 80 plus $35W should be greater than or equal to 500. That works out for us. All right, now here's our inequality. So we set it up, had one side for the total, one side for the algebraic expression, made sure that our sign in between made sense for the situation. All right, now let's go and solve it. In solving this problem, we subtract 80 from both sides, and so we get 420. I'm going to write this over here. 420 is less than or equal to 35W. We should divide both sides by 35. I'll continue my work over here. I think that's going to be 12. Okay, I'll check on the calculator just to make sure. 420 divided by 35, it is 12. Okay. Alright, and so I know I set my equation up with my variable on the right side, but when I'm done, I always like to have it on the left. Lead with that. Okay. Going to make sure my sign's facing the same way. Alligator's eating W, so it's going to stay eating W. Alright, and so we want to know all the possible weeks that Johnny might have to work to afford this game. And so Johnny could work 12 or more weeks. 12 or more weeks. Okay, I'm just writing that here so we can understand what's happening in the problem. Okay, and make sure that it makes sense. And yeah, if you want to buy a $500 gaming system on $35 a week, you're going to have to work some time. So yeah, 12 weeks makes sense for us in this problem. Alright, couple more problems that we'll go through. The service elevator at a construction site can hold at most 800 pounds. If a worker weighing 160 pounds is loading boxes that weigh 55 pounds each onto the elevator, what are the possible amounts or the possible number of boxes the worker can take in one trip? So here we go. We have our total weight, 800 pounds. Okay. On our other side, the worker weighs 160 pounds and is loading boxes that weigh 55 pounds each. So we're adding 55 pounds per box to the worker's weight. And now we have to think about the sign. Do we want the worker and his boxes to be more than or less than the 800 pound limit? Well, in this case, we want this to be less than the 800 pound limit. If it's more, you can't get on the elevator. Okay, now is it okay for him to be 800? Would it be okay for him to pack 800 pounds on this elevator? And it says that the construction site can hold at most 800 pounds. So 800 is the most it can hold, but it can hold it. So it's equal to in this case. Okay, all right, so now we have our problem set up. We can solve it. First step first, subtract 160 from each side. You'll get 55b is less than or equal to 640. We'll take 640 divided by 55. And we get b is less than or equal to 11.63 repeating. Alright, and now just like I said last time, we want to make sure that our answers make sense. If I know this is the right math, but if I put this answer in as it is, it won't make sense. That means I'm asking him to open a box and dump some of it out onto the elevator. It doesn't make sense. Okay, his boxes weigh 55 pounds each, and so how many can he take on? What did I say? Is somebody's name B? He can take on 11 boxes at most. At most, 11 boxes. Okay, and I know that the instinct would be to round up, but if we round up and take on 12 boxes, that would be over our limit. Our limit is 800 pounds. 11.63 boxes would get us to 800 pounds, but we're not going to include that 6.3 here. Okay, so 11 boxes is all we have. 12 would be too much. All right, last example. Sherry started a business designing and selling custom t-shirts. The equipment she needed cost $4,700. She buys the plain t-shirts for $3.20 each. She then sells the newly designed t-shirts for $19.99 each. For what number of t-shirts sold will Sherry make a profit? Alright, so this seems to be one of those break-even problems. Okay, on one side of this equation, we can talk about how much money she spends, and on the other side, we can talk about how much she makes for each t-shirt. Or we can talk about the t-shirts on one side and the cost for setting up the equipment on the other. I generally look at this as a problem of spending and making money, so I'm going to do that. On one side, I'm going to talk about how much money she spends. She spent $4,700 on equipment, and she buys her t-shirts for $3.20 each. I'm going to say T. Okay. On the other side, she makes $19.99 for selling t-shirts. Alright, now we have to think about where do we want our side. Okay, this is the side about spending money. This is the side about making money. If we're trying to make a profit, we want this making money or the profit side to be bigger than the spending side. Okay, now we have to say, is it okay for this to be equal? And in this case, it is not. It will not be okay for these numbers to be equal, because if she doesn't make any money, that means she doesn't make a profit. So this is just 4,700 plus 320T is less than 1999T. Okay, and now we're on to solving the problem. We set it up, we thought about it, have one about total spent, one side about how much we make. We can solve this problem. First step, subtract 320t from both sides. Subtract 320t, subtract 320t, and we get 4,700 is less than 1679t. Okay, definitely need a calculator for that one. Divided by 1679. Okay. And that gives us 279.92. I should say 3 if I'm going to stop there. Less than t. Okay. So, she needs to sell 279.93 t-shirts. Well, how many t-shirts does she need to sell to make money? Yeah, if she sells 279 t-shirts, does she make enough money for making a profit? And the answer is no. She needs 0.93 more. Now, nobody's going to buy 0.93 shirts though, and she's not going to sell 0.93 shirts. So, instead of saying t is greater than 279.93, we're going to say t is greater than 280. Okay, and we're just going to leave our sign the way we set our problem up. I know that if she does sell 280, it works for us, but in this situation, we'll say we started with greater than. I'm going to keep it as greater than. Understand that if she sold 280, she would make money. Inequalities. Okay, you can put both there. Okay, so we have to make sure that our answer makes sense though, and so if she sold 280 shirts, it works. I'm going to go to or equal to. Okay, we started off knowing that she couldn't sell exactly this amount, and since it's higher than that, then it works for us. Alright, so hopefully you see setting up, solving inequality problems, and how you're going to use that. See ya.